A little over a month ago, we put out a video called You're Not Going to Believe This Call. That call was me doing a one-on-one with a woman named Michelle. We were shocked by your response. We got so many people going crazy over this video, watching it over and over again. It's shifting other people's lives. So I got excited to share another video of me doing a one-on-one with someone. This hot seat is something that many people are calling their favorite one that we've ever had. We've had 73 of them so far, and these are life-changing things. Just watching someone else go through their experience shifts the person watching too. This one has a woman named Maria, who is a woman who has a problem. And the problem is the things that she wants in her life aren't coming into her life. And she starts to understand that the striver in her is actually the one that's blocking the things from coming into her life. This hot seat is pretty profound because Maria is so open and so vulnerable, and you get to watch her open her heart and shift so many things. This one's also awesome because we have a follow-up since then. You're not going to believe what happened to Maria since this hot seat. So lay back and enjoy watching someone shift right in front of you because they're being so vulnerable and so awesome. And again, as a reminder, this is from our Absolutely Everything Pass. And if you would like to be in the hot seat or watch other people in real time shift their lives on a hot seat, join us by going to kylecease.com/unlocked. Until then, enjoy watching Maria shift in front of us completely. Maria asks, "Hi, Kyle and everyone. I feel like I need help investigating the resistance I feel toward financial abundance and a partner. The story goes, my life feels perfect, except that I'm not earning money. I am doing what I love, and I don't feel fear around money will run out. Like I used to, although that will happen within a couple months if I do not start earning somehow. According to my bank account, I have been trying the things that call to me to no avail. It feels connected to receive a partner. In meditation, I keep hearing that God, or keep hearing from God that it's all ready to go for me. I just have to let it in, and then I feel resistance because I don't know how. And then I keep falling asleep lately. Ego says I'm missing something, doing something wrong, going to stay paralyzed, confused, and time will run out, and I'll ruin, lose my beautiful life. Please help." Wow. What pressure you have. This is a great question. Does this question excite many of you? Is there even aspects of that question that maybe every person watching are going, I want to know about this? Well, let's bring her on. It looks like she's already here. Maria, it's so good to see you. How are you?
Hi, Kyle. I'm shaking with gratitude and excitement and scared.
Oh, we're going to rock it. I'm so excited to hear what unfolds here. And I'm so happy to see you. Take a deep breath in. How you feeling, Maria?
Um, uh, Jittery, and also I always have a physical sensation in my chest when I am connected to God, and it's intense right now.
Awesome. Hell yeah. Well, allow that in. And you know what I feel like telling you? You're 100% of the time connected to God.
Thank you.
Yeah. And there might be things that don't know it, but there's lights shining on me even if I close my eyes, right? I can't see it, but it's happening, right? So it's just a big thing to take in that, like, I'm always connected, even at times where I can't experience that I'm connected. Sometimes I'll feel disconnected, but I still have this higher me now that goes, oh, I'm under the illusion I'm disconnected, but I'm 100% connected. So it's just a big thing to add that there's a feeling of relaxing available in that knowing, a feeling of everything's okay in that knowing. Why don't you tell me, talk to me about your question almost as if I didn't read it, and I might interrupt and play with it and see what unfolds with you.
Okay. Um, about a year ago, when I found all your content, I started following the tens, and it unfolded into this really gorgeous life of creativity and a sense of abundance, and my schedule is flexible. And I moved into this beautiful apartment after the Sedona event, after Miracles Normalize in September. And um, I haven't had a job since before the pandemic, but I've never been so happy.
Mm,
And yet, I haven't earned money in a while either.
yeah.
And it will run out. And it used to cripple me with fear, and then I couldn't enjoy the present moment. And I think I've worked through a lot of that, but it still feels like there's a deadline, there's going to be an end to this, that I've maybe been, the egoic voice says, like, you've been living in this fantasy and it's almost over. And that doesn't actually feel true to me. It feels like I'm meant to stay here and keep living this life of joy and inspiration and creation. And I don't understand how. And I feel like I'm always at this place, or have always been at this place, where I'm certain of, like, the abundant life that's always waiting for me. It's always one step ahead of me. And I always feel like I'm ready and I can feel like it's there, but it's always one step ahead.
Yeah.
And I don't want to repeat the old pattern of, I run out of money and I move back in with my parents, because this time I'm really, really happy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just for a second, no, everything you just said, we're gonna go back to. But I just want to put a pin in it for a second and ask you now, since it's come up, the thing about receiving a good relationship. I would love to hear about that too. This part of you that wants to be in an awesome relationship, but also get scared, as you were saying in the question. Would you tell me about that part too?
Damn it, yeah. um, yeah, the reason that it feels connected is, or actually, I don't know, I'm not gonna try to explain. I want a partner. I want to be married. I want to find something like you and Amber have, and I'm so grateful for that example. I want kids. I want to just be able to create my art and raise kids and have an amazing person to go on this expansive journey of life with.
Mhm.
And I haven't experienced that yet.
Tell me what you were saying, something about a fear to receive that, like that I could pull it up, but you said something about a freak out when this idea happens, the idea of you receiving something like that.
It still feels like it's maybe just a fantasy that can't happen. Um, and it also feels like, um, it's like, if I could earn an abundance of money, then then I could be okay without a partner.
Yeah. Do you hear how you have absolute conflicting needs? If, in other words, your idea is, if I have more money, and obviously there's a ton that isn't true in this, but in the belief system here, if I have more money, then I don't need a partner. Right. So now we're actually aiming for staying single when you also want to be married and have something awesome. So, but the belief is then if you get married, you can't make your own money. Am I right? Like the belief is some kind of thing, so one thing negates the other thing, right? So do you get what I'm saying? Like it's like saying to the universe, I want to live in California and Florida at the same time. And the
Yeah.
universe is like, you got to tell me what you want. Life is saying, tell me what you want. And one of the things that you said when you're picturing being married, which I just want to point out feels energetically, the way you said it, it felt good and like home. Making more money, at least the way you understand it right now, feels like striving and don't go broke. In other words, when you talked about getting married and having a kid and stuff like that, and having a collaborative, conscious, awesome relationship, it felt relaxing and love. And the fear that comes up is, I just don't believe that that could happen, which means the more you focus on that you want that, the more that fear will die. Do you get what I'm saying? In other words, so imagine, let's just go to the relationship. Imagine I want to have a relationship, but I have a fear that this won't happen. So I'm going to honor the fear and stop wanting this. There's almost a shame voice that's saying, who do you think you are to receive something wonderful? But it feels very home to you, that at least the way I felt you describing having a good, conscious, awesome, expansive relationship feels like home. But it would kill the you that doesn't believe that's possible. And it would also probably have to kill off a belief that you don't deserve abundance and to be in a relationship at the same time. It would
Yeah.
also have to kill the striver. It would move you to the receiver. And the receiver could still make money, but the striver is running out,
Yeah.
right? But one energy is, I'm striving to make money, and the other one is a receiving. In other words, there isn't a, I have to have a relationship or I run out of relationships in 2 months. Right. Tell me what's coming up for you. I'm just parting this out. This is big because this is big for all of us. Are you is it something you're trying to make happen so that you're not something that you don't want to be, or is it something that you need to allow and let everything fall off? So tell me what's coming up for you, Maria.
I mean, just hearing you make the distinction between the striving and the receiving. Yeah, I guess I feel like I'm tired of striving. It doesn't work. It doesn't make me happy.
Wow.
And I guess I don't know how to receive. And I
Yeah.
don't maybe believe that both can happen together.
If well, they sure, it's sure harder for them to happen separately. In other words, like if you're both the striver and the receiver, and the striver says we can't just receive relaxing, and we can't just, and the receiver says we can't make anything unless we're pushing, right? It's funny how we go, I don't know how I could have this thing that is would be easier to have, and then we go, well, wait, the way I've been doing it also isn't working either, right? Like, in other words, let's just take in, would you say this is true? In this current year, or in the current last year even, the striver isn't making money. It's just striving,
Oh yeah, that's so true.
right? Like
Yeah.
the striver, I just am pointing out for everyone, is your striver working? Mine's not. Every time I go, okay, here's how I'm gonna, I just get tired and annoyed and annoying, and then I hit leaves, and I'm like, I'm just gonna receive the now, and then like from the now, an insight for a video will show up, and then it does insanely well, and suddenly things happen. Mary's laughing because she knows this about me. I'm like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, guys. The striver kicks in, and it's like life is like going, okay, I'm gonna let your striver kick in and experience that it's not going to make anything. A few weeks ago, we put out this thing and we said, with striving, let's get this out by Sunday and we'll do this. And it did nothing. And then I just, like a week later, just relaxed and was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to relax into the now. Hey guys, I have an idea for a video. And it's already like, it's ramping up and doing more and more on its own. And all of a sudden, there's a new influx of people on AEP and everything, but it was through the release of striving. It was through the receiving of the now. And so I'm noticing for you, what you just said is, yeah, striving isn't making the money.
No, it's just like running in the background. Um, I also feel like I've been I don't know, as you were explaining the videos, it's like I feel like I've like the striving is running in the background and I'd love for that to die off. But I also feel like I'm all the things that call to me. I just do them and I'm not really attaching results to them,
Mhm.
but also nothing ever seems to come of them.
Yeah.
And
Well, the cling to the energy of the striver that only makes money out of a panic energy still exists, right?
okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? In other words, like it'd be like skydiving, but still half grabbing the plane.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's still going, yeah, but here's the emergency. And so it's kind of like letting go, but constantly staring, is it working? And so it's really not letting go, right? It's like I'm letting go, but and I'm not going to just leave it at this. I'll show you ways to receive on new levels that can open up a new frequency that can see things much better. But I just want to point out the striver, there's still going to be things done, there's still going to be doing, but working from a panicked, control based fear energy isn't making any more money, right?
Right.
But that energy might be in the way of a level of receiving that you've never experienced because your receiving's cut off. It'd be like if I'm like relaxing in my house, but there's a murderer at the door. So I'm like trying to relax, but I'm still just checking that I'm okay and safe. Now, if the murderer could leave, I can relax. And what could show up here? And what money could show up, not just from egoic pushing, but through a good relationship, through new ideas, through insights, through it being gifted to you, through so many other things. So I'll show you a way to receive here. The number one thing we can receive is the now. And I want to dare everyone to take a second and receive just the now. And this thing that you might think is not tangible, the way we think a check for a bunch of money is, or, the relationship that we can see, could you just allow yourself to make this now enough and just let the now into your heart? And watch how the ego's all immediately going, is this going to make money? It's like trying to still strive over the receiving of the right. So Maria, just receive the your loved truth, like receive that for a second, because there's probably, even when I have money I'm loved, or when I have the right marriage I'm loved, right? But I just also want you to be in the frequency of I'm loved for a second. Just because someone might be around the corner and we can't physically see them doesn't mean something amazing isn't coming. Receive for a second. Yeah, receive this. Let's start with the frequency of a higher level of love. Obviously, something's being purged that says I'm not, or have to, right? And that energy was involved in all of this. If we law of attraction, the energy that's being cried out, it would say, I'm not loved.
It's, it's like, yes, yes, I'm loved, but that's not enough.
What, and its idea of what enough is actually less than love. In other words,
It's true.
it's a right, a middleman. Once I get the marriage, I'm loved, or once I get the thing, I'm loved. And we got to be at the frequency of I'm loved and I'm abundant. And abundant doesn't just look like cash. Like I want to help you connect to the divine version of you, the divine you. This is the real you that we're starting. Just be in the frequency and the knowing without the need for the physical evidence of everything immediately, of loved, of abundant, of joy, of all the joy you've been experiencing from letting go, right? like there is a frequency to the energy that goes, yeah, but what about the money, right? There's a frequency to that says it's fighting for, I don't have abundance, right? So we want that to fall off. Yeah, tell me what's going on, Maria. You're doing so great.
I just connected to like how much fun this has been and how much fun this is, and what a perfect day I had yesterday, and how perfect it is that I'm here right now. I like it so much.
Isn't it amazing how you're bringing appreciation in, and it's moving out the old energy of striving, of pushing, of judgment? I want everyone to see that for a second. You can't egoically get rid of patterns. It's asking Maria to be closer to the new true essence of what she is. She's moving into the divine version of herself from the egoic temporary version of herself that's only about circumstances. So the egoic you is about, what do I do about? And that's what the dilemma was, right? The true you asks questions much more in the realm of, what am I? What am I? And then opens the door for listening there, right? Like, and from that frequency, you start to feel unlimited appreciation and joy, right? So what am I caused this, oh, I'm going to receive the truth of what I am. And then it just naturally purges out of a place of love what no longer serves her. But you can't get rid of third grade until you move to fourth grade. So what we did was we moved up in, I am loved, I am abundant. And then it started bringing gratitude thoughts, right? Like, I'm so grateful I had the best day yesterday. Right. And all of a sudden, out of appreciation, all the patterns of, yeah, but what about the money, just go. And the ego that watches this could kick in and go, yeah, but what about the money though? And it's like, no, we go to a frequency of real trusting and real now and real filling up all this time with, I am loved, until it's fact to our soul, because we are love and we are abundant. You're absolutely abundant, right? The frequency you're offering to the world right now is very valuable. And what you're learning about what you are is going up and up and up. And all the energy of, what do I do, is falling out. So everyone watching, make sure that you start to just start with, without the physical evidence, you're more than the five senses. I am loved. I am free. I am abundant. And then do that until the patterns that want to fight that fall off. Like, the patterns that want to fight that, they will die. And so they are going to kick in right now and say, what about, yeah, but it's not that easy. I don't deserve all these things. And so they will have to fall off if you stay in the, I am abundant. And then the inevitable truth will be, you're connected to the infinite abundance and love that you are. And then there is real truth in this law of attraction thing that goes, now that you understand you're abundant, the way you move, the way you act, the way you feel, the way you talk will be attracting everything.
I know that's true.
Yes.
It's hard to stay there.
Yeah. It, let's rephrase that. It's hard to choose to stay there just because you've been choosing ambition and striving. And at one point, striving actually worked. And 20 years ago, striving was an ascension almost. And now the striver isn't useful anymore. So in other words, it's just a choice, but we have to have the courage to choose it. Tell me what you're feeling right now.
Um, I a little bit stepped out of that space of abundance and
Well, I'd rather even you step into the space of now
okay.
because it's even more abundant than abundance. But it doesn't have that high charge, so you don't know it for a while. But in other words, it doesn't have to be high like I can see millions of dollars. I'm so excited about it because money's bigger than me. It's I am abundance in this now. And then patterns will kick up in this frequency. They will want to get your ambition in. They will want to fight this. They will want to sabotage. They will want to have every voice of everyone that's been around you that says skeptical things like it's not that easy and all that stuff. Those patterns are trying to leave your body. And so that with the practice of the receiving of that I am now, right? I am loved. Can you receive that for a second? Can you receive these truths? These are the real truths. Do you see my Wednesday call maybe a week ago where I was talking about there's the truth in the circumstance, and then there's the truth? I want to dare you to find those truths that I had said. In other words, instead of the truth being, yeah, but the money, let's take the truths that I was saying, like the truth of I am loved, I am love, I am free, right? Everything's on purpose. Like God hears this, right? Yeah, God hears these truths. Wherever you feel unseen, God hears them. The now hears them. The love hears them. Tell me what's coming out. This is so good. Or what's here? What are you feeling right now? You're releasing so much. This is true ascension we're watching right now.
Oh, it's like it's like a really vicious story in my head of like yes, yes, I'm loved and I am loved. And because I have because those beautiful things are true, none of the other stuff I want can be true.
Tell me, wait, what are the other things you want that can't be true?
None of the like lesser things, like none of the tangible things. Like I get to be loved and free, and therefore the partner and the money and all those other things can't be true because I already have it too.
So do you believe then to have a partner, you have to believe you're not loved?
No idea.
Do you
That
get
no.
what I'm saying? In other words, you go, if I'm loved, then the other things can't be true. So, in other words, according to your wiring, you would have to be not lovable or not loved to achieve a partner or to receive a partner.
Yeah, I definitely don't like believe that, but there's yes, thank you for
Isn't that funny? In other words, I hear the belief is I need to feel some sort of lack to have a relationship to fix the lack. The idea of you being whole as you are and complete
oh,
and having a relationship would be crazy to you, but actually that's exactly how it actually works.
oh yeah. Oh that's
Right? The way that it works is you understand that you are loved and you move to a place. It's when you finally are like, I don't need anybody because I am so loved, that you will be shocked at what comes into your life. But at the same time, you can have that I'm not enough, I need a relationship aspect. And then you'll attract someone who thinks the same thing. You guys can become codependent addictions. You can keep that story going. But you could also be whole without a relationship and have one at the same time.
There's something, um yeah, there's something with that. Something bumps up against something else.
Yes. Do you see the difference between I'm whole without a relationship and I don't want one? They're very different, because the first one can still invite a relationship. You're the sun shining, and someone can join you if they're also in their wholeness. And you guys are 1 + 1 = infinity versus 1/2 + 1/2 = 1/4. You will not believe how fast you launch from a place of I am abundant, whether this is here or not. And you can still have it. And of course, you'll find times where you don't feel loved. And in a relationship, you'll still have that love override that and you'll feel loved. I'm not saying we get to some perfect, invincible place or something, but that you're also working on your connection to you, and that you're also starting from a place of whole. And then also, this is an interesting thing, the striver for money only works based on lack. In other words, when you have a bunch of money, you don't need the striver, right? So the
No.
striver, so the striver needs you to get broke so it can kick in. So it's out of your fear of losing money that it's created. We don't want to make money out of that. We want to make money out of how abundant we are. And it, right? And if your basis of your striver is based on how broke you are, you're actually putting out I'm not abundant. You're actually putting out please make me broke so my ego can fix it. But my ego dies if I'm just abundant, right? So the ego goes, I got to have a problem first so I can fix it. So it did that already. We can see on the relationships. You believed that if you are whole and loved as is, you can't have a relationship. So according to your patterns, you only deserve a relationship when you feel you're not lovable. Right? And when you feel you're not deserving of a relationship, and when you feel, and you can only make money when you feel you're not abundant and you feel that you're broke. So we're creating lack in order to achieve the external at the sacrifice of the truth of what we are, which is infinite abundance and infinite love. And if you, instead of working on attracting anything on the outside, work on only the frequency of I am loved and I am abundant. Instead of saying, how do I make money? Say, what am I? I want you to just notice where the energies are to those two questions. If I say, how do I make money? I almost leave myself because money is bigger than me and I'm going over there. And also this aspect is needed from lack, from the idea that I'm broke, from the idea that I'm not enough, from the idea that I never can get it right. So I have to start with a deficit so that I can have an egoic striver. And a striver's job is just to keep you from going broke, but it's not to be rich, right? The striver's job is like, it's like, I always want my cell phone battery at 3%. I don't want it to be all the way full. I don't want it to die, but I don't want it to be above 10%. Like, those people that live with the gas tank always below a quarter. It's like, I just don't want to run out of gas, but I don't want to fill it, right? Like, they don't want it to be full. They want to have a striver here to stop you from going broke. But what if we don't work on anything circumstantial for a minute and we just start to connect to what am I? And you don't even try to attract external things. You just start to know what you are. And we let go of the one that egoically attracts, because law of attraction doesn't need your egoic attractor. Does everyone get that? It doesn't need your striver. It just
Oh.
needs your frequency. But the frequency you're offering with a striver is I'm broke. So one of the things we do a lot in law of attraction is we try to attract the external, and we go, I'll do the work of the law of attraction. Like, I will, right? I will egoically do its job. And it's like, no, no, no. I will match your frequency. And if you're the one doing law of attraction, then the law of attraction to that is you're broke and you're unlovable and you're right. What are you feeling right now?
I'm actually like so just delighted and humored, and I think that my like what a convoluted little pattern. I'm so impressed with it that it wrapped itself in knots like that. And um uh I feel space. And then fear comes in. Like, you know, you're just you're just kidding yourself.
I get so excited when that comes in because that has to come up so it can leave. It's like, okay, the you're kidding yourself voice is here. What if we just let it go by, but we don't give it any power?
Yeah.
Whose voice is that? Because it's not yours. Is that mom or dad?
Um, be a mix of both.
Yeah. And also their voice to themselves, right? Who are you kidding to achieve or receive?
Oh yeah, maybe it's dad.
Yeah. So if we take this concept that we had a few months ago of God's kid, you're God's kid, and we don't play within the realm of their games anymore, that we have the courage to keep saying, what am I? Am I Maria, the child of two egos that had their own problems and didn't probably do this inner work? Or am I Maria, who is an infinite light, who is magical? If you ask yourself, what am I? It might not even answer in words, but what's the best you got right now? If you ask yourself, what am I? Like, what shows up for you?
Just a little ball of fun and love.
Okay.
Um,
Tell me more.
just like really happy to like play and make stuff and um I'm shiny. I don't know.
I'm shiny. That's awesome. That's beautiful. So, did you notice that the voice that said, what was it? The fear voice that said,
Kidding yourself.
who, yeah. Did you say any of that when you said, who am I?
No,
Did you say, when I said, who am I? Did your soul say someone who's kidding themselves?
no.
Someone who doesn't deserve a loving relationship, someone who doesn't deserve abundance?
Um,
Right. And notice that those feelings don't feel good, which is a sign, if you took Abraham Hicks here, that you're off from the truest self. Like, that's why it doesn't feel good. You're disconnected from your truest self. Right. When you talked about striving for money, it didn't feel good. It was like out of a panic. But when you talked about receiving a relationship, it did. And even though there was fears, the fears would just die because you just receive. It sounds to me like the truest you, tell me if you agree with this, the truest you would like to receive a magical relationship, right? You want to be married, and yeah, I want you just to hear that you want that.
I really want that.
And I want you to just keep wanting it so that the voice that says, who are you kidding, dies. Because if you hear the voice that says, who are you kidding, you'll stop wanting that. or you'll throw out this conflicting energy of like, I want it, but I don't deserve it. Right? We need to keep receiving that that's the truth. And then at the same time, our highest goal isn't even to manifest that relationship, it's to just know that the truth that you're loved and lovable. And I bet it will be within minutes that the right match will show up for you. Right? It might take a little longer than that, but just like life might want you to learn this longer. My life might want you to really be okay with yourself fully so you can have one hell of a match and bring nothing but magic to that relationship, right? It might be like, hey, we're putting out I want but don't deserve, right? That's the frequency we're putting out. I want but don't deserve. And I want but I have to strive. At one point, your striver actually was evolving for you. Like, in other words, at one point a long time ago, that motivated, make it happen energy was a new expansive energy. But in the last few years, you've been doing deeper, higher, magical, surrender based work. So the striver now is a lower frequency compared to where you are. Does that make sense? What are you feeling right now? What's here?
The want.
The want? Okay.
Um, I think, I mean, there's more. I can't really, not sure.
Okay. Check this out, everyone. I'm going to give you 4 stages really quick that you'll like. The first one is can't, right? I can't do this. The second one is the striving have to. Okay. Like so the first one is like, I can't make any money. The second one is I have to, I'm going to. So it's the motivated one. The third one is this is better is I want love and I want a good relationship and I want that. That's going to kill the striver. That's going to kill the can't have. That's going to kill all the level 1 stuff. And the fourth one is what is. I want you to just feel the frequency of what am I? Do you notice how here you are with that question? Do you notice that that question puts you inward now? It doesn't put you striving or at a circumstance, right? Can you feel that? Can you feel just the what am I and let the answer percolate that might not even show up in words, right? So some people are just like emotionally I can't do it, then instead they have to. I have to make it happen, that striver, right? So that striver at one point served you, now it doesn't serve you anymore. So the money's falling faster because your heart is living more and more in a frequency of the third one, want. So the money's going to fall first because if it's from striving. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you're imagine you're a third grader in those 4 grades and you're at want and I'm offering you even the beginning of the 4th grade, which is what is, right? So can't, no one here watching this is at can't. Some of us have lingering have to make it happen energies. That's the second one. The third one is I want, just being in the peace. I want, notice there's more peace here. I want a loving relationship. I want to have a lot of financial abundance. That kills off the I can't. That kills off the who do you think you are? Just staying in that want. But you can even go higher and even hearer with what am I? And don't even have what I want, right? You could just be like, I am loved. I am lovable. I am abundance. And then you start to balance with the universe and the law of attraction in the now at those at that you are that you sit in that. And so when panicking have to striving moments come up, you don't join it. It just comes up and you watch it from the infinite. Tell me what you're feeling right now. We'll figure out where you're at. Like we can play through these 4.
Um, yeah, man, a lot more of the How is this gonna work? This isn't gonna work. Um,
Yeah. So
uh,
those are remaining energies from 1 and 2. And for where you're going, they need to fall off of you, right? So they fall off when we focus more on 3 and 4. Notice that 3 and 4 involve much more God and energies past your ego. 1 is a separate self that can't do anything. 2 is a separate self that can do stuff, but it's still separate. So the striver you created was still the small you that has to do it, doesn't invoke any energy from the outside, doesn't receive any help, has to do it all on your own, right? 3 is involving help now. I want an amazing relationship. Even the person that you're going to be in the relationship with can help you, or you can help them, right? We're starting to move past the small self that's egoically making these things happen. And we're saying, I want this, I want love. And then the tears are the old energies that we don't want to play. We don't need level 1 and level 2 anymore. We don't need I can't, and we don't need I have to make it happen all by myself. So those fall out the more you think in terms of 3 and 4. What do I want and what am I? Right. And in fact, the key to what you want is to go to what am I? Because if you stay in the realm of what you want a bunch, you're going to start to find lack. If you stay in the realm of what am I? Right. And you start to really practice a good long time of peace in being in what you are and letting these emotions come up and letting just the love of you'll just see a sunset and want to start crying. You'll just see joy everywhere because you're not more complete if you're in a relationship, right? A good one can help you find more of you, but you're not more complete if you have money. You're more complete if you understand what you are, and then money would have to join that. You'd be worth a lot more. And I'll tell you, you're acclimated at least to 3 or 4. You got to let all the energies of 1 and 2, the striver, that I can't, who do you think you are energies, have to fall off. So we don't think in realms of them anymore, but they might come up to fall out. Does that make sense?
yeah.
You're doing so awesome. That's all, everyone watching, that's 1 and 2 falling out of her. This wonderful woman has done so many things on her own and believes she couldn't. This is the old patterns of her parents, the old patterns of I can't, the old patterns of I have to do it all myself. Those are what are falling out of Maria right now. So she's getting closer to the true aspect of what she is. Literally just by choosing to focus on what am I? And what do I want and what am I? Your vibration is unbelievably high, by the way, Maria. And there's old lingering barnacle old energy just stuck to you of like, who do you think you are? All that stuff. So if we law of attraction you're unbelievably abundant, but don't believe in it. So the universe is like, okay, here, we'll give you that. You deserve a relationship, but don't. Like, it goes, okay, we'll give you that. You want an amazing relationship. You're unbelievably loved. You're unbelievably lovable. And you totally don't deserve this. Who do you think you are? That's what you're putting out. Literally just based on which one of those 4 you're thinking from. So, do you understand the difference between those thoughts coming up? Like the thoughts of who do you think you are could come up, but you don't have to answer that or play in it. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just like smoke from a fire just coming up. It's just leaving.
Yeah.
You're just more and more going to be connecting to the true essence of what you are. You're God's kid, the now's kid, the universe's kid.
It's incredible how much better and truer 3 and 4 feel.
Yes. And you only would understand it. You would only understand it if you're there. This would be crazy talk to a ton of people. You understand all of that, don't you? Yeah. So what happens? So what if your day was you continually practicing what am I and not getting caught in passing circumstances or feelings as if they're the truth. They're just leaving because they're debris that's leaving as we're all ascending right now. And you're going to choose what am I? And you're going to opt for that. What am I? What's here? A voice shows up that goes, "You're about to be broke." Instead of just striving and saying, "What do I do out of that fear?" and keeping that cycle going, maybe that striving could get you something temporarily to pay another month of rent, but this energy will always be moving based on that lack. So, what if instead you go, "I now opt for what am I?" Right? And there's going to be a bunch of moments of, yeah, but we have to, Kyle, it's not that easy. I'm like, try this for a while. Try getting connected to a you that is that amazing and see what the hell starts to happen way beyond out of your egoic control.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
What do you what are you feeling right now? This is all about your ascension much more than the money, right? But you ascending puts makes those things much easier.
Physically, I feel like my heart's just gonna like pop. Like in a cartoon when it like pops into like a million little hearts.
Yes.
Like that's about to happen. And yeah, it's spending more time in who am I or what am I feels so comforting and exciting and um, joyful. And I also notice how often it's just a storm of like I'll go to who am I and like the one and two like comes along with it.
Yeah. Well, imagine saying it like I go to the gym and still I'm seeing some fat, right? Like in the first 20 minutes of us doing this, right? Like we're really going to dedicate this to becoming how you move. There's still, don't mishear this, everyone. There's still things she will do about money, but imagine inspired ideas, inspired relationships, calling like ideas that take you farther. Like the one that strives is very capped at what they can see, how they move, how they function. The one that makes it happen is the 5-year-old you panicking, trying to make it happen. So that one is capped and can't receive millions of dollars. It can't even fathom in major abundance. And and when you start to go up in the what am I frequency, you start to realize all the world is me. So you start to, first of all, lose all the parts of you that have a hard time saying no when they mean no, have a hard time saying yes when they mean yes. You're going to move into the true aspect of what you are. You're going to find so many ways that abundance is going to show up because the match will be there's no more voice in the one and two that stop it from coming in. Like the voice in the one and two are saying, I'm not deserving of a really abundant or loving life. Right. So your job is basically to start to be in the what am I frequency. And when all the yeah buts and all the stuff comes up, the what am I still activates, hears it, and those things pass. So you'll feel some dark moments, but you just stay in the what am I, even when it feels dark, even when it feels horrible. Just stay in the what am I. I'm telling you, this is it. You will move to a frequency that is going to offer so much more to the world, will be so much less exhausted, will not have the striving energy, will have a receiving energy. You are a receiver more than a striver. But I know you've really developed that striving energy, right? I know you've really killed it and you've made it happen, and that's awesome. And striving's not a bad guy, but it is if it's voiding out the receiving, right? So tell me what that is, what that release was.
It's it's more of like the like I everything that you're saying feels so true about just what am I and moving to that space, and
Mm,
I know that that's what's true. And then immediately it's like, yeah, well, how come you can't get it right then?
yeah. Is it what, and I will just get good at doing this. What number is that voice?
One,
Okay, so it's not true.
you know.
But we've even become addicted to painful, not true voices on our planet. Isn't that amazing? How come you can't get it right was unconsciously, because we weren't aware of it, was an addictive choice to go to that familiar home feeling of why can't you get it right? You always do it wrong. You can never figure this out. Those frequencies don't serve you. So I want that voice to be able to come up and even feel like shit, but not have you act like it has any power. I want it to come up in its leavingness. Did that make sense? So let that voice come up again. Like, who do you think you are, or whatever? In fact, notice the voice comes up we don't even have to bring up that voice. We bring up, I'm infinite and loved, and what am I? And all the negative voices can come up because they're fighting for their life when they need to defend themselves and go, don't you dare follow that because I'll die.
Yeah. Oh
So could
man.
that voice, if that voice shows up, you just keep going right back to what am I? Don't cater to it. Remember all that stuff we did at Miracles about don't pick it up,
Yeah.
right? Don't pick it up, right? I want that voice to come up, but you go right back to what am I? So let's do it again. Say, what am I? And ask yourself, what am I?
What am I?
And then let feelings just be there. And then any yeah, but energy that must come up, I want you to stay at what am I? Like hear it, let it even be fully felt, but still consciously choose what am I? Yeah, yeah. Just don't grab it as truth. Just let it, yes. What are you feeling right now? Yes. This is so good, Maria.
Oh, oh.
Wow, what's this?
Oh man.
Look at that release. Out of love, she's just asking, what am I? She's not trying to get over it, right? She's just asking, what am I? And all this love comes up, but then all the fear comes up because you got a big capacity to love now. So everything that doesn't belong here needs to come up to be spat out. That yeah, but it's not that easy voice comes in and she just goes right back to what am I? She hears it, but goes, what am I?
This is so cool.
Hell yeah. It
It's
is
like
so cool.
I just said, oh, thank you for talking me through that because it was like I went to what am I? And then I heard the one and the two, and then I didn't pick it up. I went right back to what am I? And something just
Yes. Yes, Maria. We've learned so much in spiritual work how to do stuff by like hearing the egoic thing and then going, where did that come from? And picking up the pattern and learning it. You're at a frequency that's past that. We're just at what am I? You're too far to have to dig into the egoic constructs and break them apart and find where they came from. You don't have to do that. You just one time someone asked Eckhart Tolle, "Where do I put my attention?" And Eckhart Tolle said, "You are the attention." And that's exactly right. Does your attention go back to what am I, which has this receiving and this ease and this joy and this being, but also will have a bunch of boredom if you still got a bunch of the old patterns in there that go, no, I need the excitement of the drama of I'm falling apart so I can fix it, but I need I'm falling apart. So instead, when the voice kicks in and goes, it's not that easy, you just go back to what am I,
Yeah,
right?
which kind of is easy.
Yes. It's it's unbelievably easy, and that's why our mind hates it.
Oh, wow.
Because the mind is all about complicated and overcoming and striving and figuring out and effort and not vibration. How you doing?
This just feels really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel excited and more in touch with who I am and excited to like that little loop I did there just now. That was actually kind of fun.
Hell yeah. You just broke off a cycle by thinking from the frequency that you've actually acclimated to. You're at the what am I frequency. Do you
Yeah.
understand that? You're at it. In fact, you'll notice more lack when you even go to 3. I want this relationship. I want this. It compared to 4, right? It's like it does. You will receive so easily so many amazing things from being in the ongoing patient practice of level 4. But part of it will literally make your desires for more money and relationships fall off so that it's normal that it comes in and not even exciting. It's like, yeah, that's the frequency. Of course, that's in my life. But
Yeah.
I'm abundant, period. Of course.
That
Your What's that?
just feels so true.
Yeah. Your power is in your receiving. And you're moving up in frequency that you have to know. You connecting to it will help, ironically, make you feel fulfilled and heal the loneliness that we feel by living in 4 when we feel like a lot of the planet lives in 2 or 1. And 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 there's a lot of people that are moving to this. I'm just offering this will help. But just so you know, you might end up finding also in this frequency for a while it hard to find a relationship because you're valuable and a jackpot person. And so there, you're going to only be with someone that wants those same levels of light in themselves. And you'll find a striver and be like, get out of here. Like, tell me what this is. What's this? Yeah, receive. You are in that 4.
Like I know when he's the jackpot person, I know that's true. And it's like the discomfort of one and two hearing that from somebody else.
Yes.
And then you also just described what my dating experience has been like.
The
There's
strivers.
there's nobody that I'm interested in because they're all striving.
We have a name for your old egoic construct, Maria Shriver. Because there's a lady named Maria Shriver. um, yeah. that she's gone. And so yeah, so I'm sorry, you go on dates and they're all either one or two.
Yeah, I don't even go on dates because I'm just not even interested because they all feel so limited.
Well, you know something funny? I didn't go to any, like, I didn't, this is a really interesting thing. When I went out in cattle calls for auditions for things, I usually didn't book them. It was only through like a friend referring me to meet the director of Not Another Teen Movie that I got that, and through taking a casting director's class that I got an audition for 10 Things I Hate About You. In other words, the I booked parts for things in non typical ways. And whenever I joined the cattle call of everything, I couldn't do anything. And in that same realm for you, you trying to do things based on being on dating sites, or you know what I'm saying, like, in, it's too low of a frequency for you. And so we're not going to use striving to date even. You're going to embody who you are and feel complete and not even wait for the right person, because you're going to feel complete. And then someone so magical will come into your life. It's just how it works. It really is the law of how this works. But if we, in fact, we can say, we can prove law of attraction, and that it's given you the exact match to the frequencies you've been putting out. When you still have the striver and you go on dates, you find other strivers, but you have a higher you that's desiring them to be higher, but it's really desiring you to be higher.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now? And can you receive all this ease that's here?
Can I receive this ease?
Yes, because that's your new thing, is like, receive the everything's okayness, that you're loved now. And quite a bit of the striver out of lack is going to fall off of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, in other words, there's going to be bored moments and moments of fear that kick in, and we're going to go to what am I? And you're going to practice that more every day. Like, do you understand? Like, tomorrow you'll be 10 times better at it than today, and the next day 10 times better at it than yesterday, or that, you get it,
Yeah.
right? It's just going to get, you're going to become more and more of an expert at the connection of what you are, and you're going to watch as the world mirrors you. Everything's going to change around your knowing of what you are, your confidence with yourself, your connection to yourself, your wholeness, everything. And yeah, have an amazing relationship. You deserve an amazing relationship, but life is asking you to be in the frequency that wants and deserves and receives the best one.
Yeah.
Because if you keep all your striver and I can't do it energies, you might attract someone that thinks that way about themselves and would say those things to you. They might say to you, well, it's not that easy, and who do you think you are? You don't want anyone that's carrying any level one, so we got to get rid of yours.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
So life is perfect because it goes, why don't you connect to you and find what you are, and really practice not grabbing any addictive things, undoing yourself from striving, moving to a higher frequency of meeting yourself, letting it be answered by the universe, and then seeing how you move, and letting some time pass too. Like, not going, did it work the first day? Like, the striver's so impatient too,
Yeah.
right? You're an amazing, powerful, magical woman that whoever ends up with is very lucky, and you're going to be lucky with them, because if you like them, they're a match to your frequency. So you finding an exciting, awesome, abundant relationship is so thrilling, but you finding it with yourself first is even more.
Yeah.
You ready to practice receiving?
Ah.
Like, receive some amazing now, receive some now. And if things feel even overwhelming, like to receive love, go
Mhm.
inward and ask yourself, what am I? Even on the positive, ask yourself, what am I? Right?
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to open the chat. Would you please share with Maria something that you got from this, something that you love about her, something that you are doing different because of this call? Because this was one hell of a hot seat. How you doing?
Good. Good.
New life today.
Yeah, for all of us.
Yeah, that
I
was
can't
big,
believe how many people said they felt the same exact things.
which is exciting because we're acclimating to the bar of level 4, right? Like we're a normal world is what am I?
Oh,
Yeah. A normal world is the end of the have to and all this stuff. Let's see what we are completely connected to the truth of what we are. Let's see what happens. Let's see what this is. Marie, this was such a good hot seat. It was insane.
Kyle, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. The call you just saw was actually 6 months ago, and I had the pleasure of talking to Maria again this week. And I've discovered that in the last 6 months, Maria's life has changed dramatically. 3 months ago, she went to our event called The Big One and met someone. They're now a couple and they're totally in love in an expansive relationship. And so many other things have changed for Maria, too. Check this out. There was a lot of openness that was created on that call for me, a lot more worthiness. There was permission to release the striver a little more. There's been an acknowledgement that that striving energy wasn't doing shit anyway. And so giving myself more grace to let that go. And then there was actually a call that you had, the Wednesday night call on AEP, where you answered one of my questions. And it pushed me into a space of like the next level, I guess, of allowing myself to receive being cared for. The biggest things here are just like massive surrender, massive uncertainty that I've become way more comfortable with, feel more in my heart, more aware of what I am, and completely in love. If you want to see the entire story of what's happened to Maria and actually meet her partner, join us on the Absolutely Everything Pass. And just so you know, I'm so excited to announce we have a ton of hot seats scheduled for the rest of 2024. And I would love to meet you and hear what your story is and see if I can help you shift too. As you can see, lives truly change when we do these hot seats. If you want to join us on a hot seat, ask a Q&A, or any of our other thousands of hours of things that we have on the Absolutely Everything Pass, join us at kylecease.com/unlocked. I can't wait to work with you, and I hope you got something awesome from this call. Please share in the comments what you got from this call and how Maria changed your life today and what you're going to change because of it. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks.